Hi, I'm Omfg Really Nicki, and it's been a super long time since I made a video. It's been like over a year, so I'm kind of excited to finally be back and able to film again. Not that I couldn't before, but I don't know. It's just been a difficult transition, all the things that have happened. So this video is just kind of a quick update that I am actually in the process of making a couple other videos. I actually already filmed one earlier. Before, my videos were very much like makeup related, and they still will be. I mean, I still own a makeup company, so I mean, of course we're still going to talk about makeup stuff, but that's not the only thing that I'm passionate about, and that's not really the only thing I want to talk about. So some of the new things that I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about some finance stuff. We will talk about possibly what it's like being a business owner, PCOS, what else? I have a whole list of stuff that I want to talk about. We're definitely still going to talk about beauty, but I think we're going to talk about it, at least for myself, a little bit different than what I did before. Not that I have that many videos, to be honest, but I don't want to be locked into any set thing that we're going to talk about, so I will definitely be talking about a lot of different things, and I hope that you guys will like it and watch the videos. My little update is, I don't know how many people knew about what happened in 2018, but I had a baby and lost him, which that actually was not the first time that that had happened. I have something that's called incompetent cervix, and it just, unfortunately, in 2018, the doctor, even though they knew about the problem that it had happened before, they did not do anything. The doctor was like literally a dinosaur. I think he's like 81, and I was not aware of that. I just knew his attitude was very much like, what the fuck ever. And unfortunately, because he didn't care, he's not the one going home that's gonna be upset and hurt. And I basically, like, even though they knew and should have done something that that doctor didn't, and I did everything that I knew to do, and I was trying to do, you know, be active, like proactive, and like make sure that things went right. And unfortunately, I'm not a doctor, so there were things that I should have done that I didn't know, because I just wouldn't have, unfortunately. And the thing is, when you have this condition, there's no way to know from one time to another exactly what's going to happen, or like what time frame you have. So that was just very difficult, and like I was very angry, because I was like, why did this have to happen to me twice? Which, I mean, I'm not saying that I would wish that on anyone else or anything like that. It's just, I think it's just something you go through, because it's like, it already happened once and it was terrible, but I survived it. And then you're like, after years and years and years of thinking that you wouldn't even be able to have a baby, then it just happens again. So it wasn't, I don't really have the words. It's a very difficult thing to go through, and luckily this time my support system was different and I was okay. And then not very long after, I actually got pregnant with the one that I have now, and he's although there was a lot of like complications and things, and I had to go to Stanford Hospital and stay at the Ronald McDonald House nearby for 3 months, because they weren't sure what was going on, and things were still kind of looking iffy. He actually made it basically to full term. He was born at 37 weeks and 5 days, so almost 38 weeks. And so I'm just grateful that everything worked out, and he's okay. He's now 6 months. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's like jabbering in the other room. But that's, I don't know, that's been kind of weird, because it's like, you go through so many years, because the first time it happened, I was 19, and it was in 2003. And when you're 19, you don't know anything. Like, you think you do, but you literally, like, I think the older you get, the more you realize, dude, I don't know shit. So I didn't know how to deal with it, and I didn't have a good support system. Unfortunately, my family wasn't super supportive. Like, people say a lot of like ignorant shit to you when you go through something like that. And I don't know if they think it's gonna help, or like somehow is trying to like make it better, but honestly, a lot of times I feel like it's more like gaslighting behavior, like downplaying how you feel. And you know, the truth is, when you go through something painful, you have to deal with it. You can't just hide your feelings. You can't just push it down. You can't just pretend like everything's okay. If you need to cry, then you do it. If you know, if there's a day where you feel like you just don't want to do shit, then you just don't do it. Don't lay in bed all day, every day, and like let that consume your life. But like, you have to feel however it is that you feel about it and deal with those feelings. I started a blog at the time. I, you know, tried to write everything that I was feeling down just to get it out, because it's like when you keep that shit inside, it builds up, and it's not a good thing, because and after a couple years of like not being able to talk about it and nobody wanted to hear it, like, oh, don't talk about it, it's too depressing. And the thing is, it's like, yeah, it is depressing. How do you think I feel? I have to carry this shit around and I can't talk about it to anybody. Like, if you think it's depressing to hear about it, imagine what it's like carrying this around and knowing no one will listen to me, no one wants to hear it because it's too depressing. Like, talk about selfish. Like, that's why, like, anytime I see somebody going through this, if I see a post on Instagram or whatever, like, I always just try to send like some kind of encouraging message, because I know how hard it is when you're stuck in that, like, and you feel like so alone and you have nobody, and having no support system is super awful. And even when you have a support system, it's like, it's still very difficult. So I may talk about that. I don't know. I do have a video that's like, I want to say it's like 13 years old, that I posted on YouTube. It was like, it's not on this channel because I don't even have access to that account anymore, but it's like something like child loss and the stupid things people say, because I was just so irritated with the shit that people were saying. And it was like, don't say these things. If you've never been through it, the only correct thing, in my opinion, to say is, I'm sorry that happened to you, and if you need to talk, I'm here for you. Like, don't offer suggestions, don't give opinions, don't say like, oh, well, that happened to a friend, like, I know how you feel, or like any of that. That's not helpful, and honestly, that's like hurtful. And most things that people could say, even with the best intention, are absolutely like horrendous and like hurtful. It is what it is. Like, I'll never stop saying that, because it's true. And people that haven't gone through it, there is literally nothing in the world that you can go through that you just can't relate to it. And it's okay. I'm grateful that there are many people that don't know what it's like, because it sucks. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be honest. But now I'm on the other side of that. And like, it's almost weird, because when that happened, like I said, it was 2003. And then after that, PCOS got really bad. Like, I didn't have like monthly cycle or anything like that. Like, it was like 5 years. So when one finally randomly happened, I was like, I remember my friend lived like above me, and I went to her house. I was like, dude, I think I need to go to the doctor. Can you watch my kids? And she's like, why? What's wrong? And I was like, I don't know, but all of a sudden I'm bleeding. And she's like, what do you mean? And I explained it to her, and she's like, yeah, dude, that's normal. That happens every month. And it'd been so freaking long that it was like, yeah, but not for me. Like, that's not normal for me. So it freaked me out. But since then, I've had weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve in 2016, and that finally was able to bring things back to some level of normalcy, and I was able to lose enough weight that things came back. I wasn't severely overweight, but unfortunately, when you have PCOS, sometimes your weight is very, I don't know, your body's like super picky. You need to be at a certain weight or under a certain, you know, within a certain range, so that your body like regulates things correctly, because it affects hormones, it affects your insulin levels and your thyroid sometimes, like, and so many other things, like even like dandruff, like weird unexplained dandruff, that it's not one that you can just buy a shampoo and treat it. That and like facial hair, which I have, and I'm making a video about it, but that's a separate thing. But so all of those years thinking that it's never going to happen, and I adopted kids because I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait my whole life to like, and go through life feeling like, you know, I'm a parent, like a mom without a baby, and there's kids who are in the system that reunification is not an option, things are not going to work out. I could fill that void within myself and also help a child who needs a parent. So it was kind of like, it made sense to me that I was like, I can adopt a child that needs a parent, and I can feel like, okay, I'm finally, you know, a mom, and also give them a life that otherwise they may or may not have had. I don't know. I mean, you know, but that's just how I was like, you know, I can still be a mom. They don't have to be my child biologically. That didn't matter to me. So I ended up adopting actually 3. I got the first one at 4. No, her adoption was finalized when she was 4. I got her when she was 2.5. But then it still took a while. Like, it's a very complicated process, which I may actually talk about because I've actually done a foster to adopt. Like, you get them with, you're basically going to adopt them unless something drastic happens. But typically that's the way you have to do it when they're in foster care, because she was a toddler already. She wasn't an infant. But the mother and father ended up meeting up again, and they had another baby, and I was asked, the mother contacted the adoption agency and said, you know, would you be willing to take her? So I've done one foster adoption, one infant adoption, and then I have another sibling that has a different father, but it's the same mother, which he's technically not adopted. I'm his legal guardian, but I was supposed to adopt him, and that was just, I don't know. She has her reasons and issues, but she decided she didn't want the adoption to go through, and then she moved out of state. She never tried to get him or do anything, and honestly, they wouldn't have given him to her anyways, but it is what it is. So I've been through many different situations and scenarios when it comes to adoption and foster care and guardianship and so on. So I may make videos about that if that's something you're interested in. I only have experience with it in California, but I do have some information, you know, because I've talked to people in other states and other places. So if it's something anybody that's watching is interested in, definitely let me know in the comments, because I would be happy to talk about it. If you have specific questions, let me know. Other than that, like, I don't know, like, I didn't want to go through all of my life feeling like I was never going to be a parent, so I was like, I'm just going to do this. And then again, after I adopted the first one, then I got the calls for the second one and the third one, and I was like, okay, wow, like, I thought I would never have kids, and now two basically just kind of fell into my lap. I mean, there's a lot of money and things that were involved, but essentially, unfortunately, adoption, even when you go through a good agency, can be very expensive. And infant adoption is very expensive. But it's also a lot faster. But then after that, I got my weight loss surgery, and I did all that, and things worked out and things got better. I was able to get pregnant in actually 2017, but I had a miscarriage at 6 weeks, which was kind of like, I had mixed feelings about, because I was at least excited that I was like, okay, well, look, it's at least possible, you know? So I tried to see the positive in that, but I was upset. But now I actually have a healthy baby, and it's almost weird, because it's like that thing that was like hanging over you that you're like, I don't know, like, is this gonna happen? Is this like crazy? Am I ridiculous for wanting this? Because whatever. And then now it's just here. So it's like, I don't know. I don't really have the words for that. But it's been really cool, and like getting to actually like see him do new things and stuff like that. And besides that, we've been working a lot on stuff for Omfg Cosmetics. We have some really cool things that are going to be coming out this year. I don't want to talk about any of them, because there's a particular indie brand that has copied a few things that I've done, and I just don't want any leaks. I don't want any problems. I just want to be able to do what I'm trying to do and not have any outside influence and anybody taking ideas from me. So it is what it is. I've learned a lot in the last year about myself, about being a business owner, about so many things, and so I'm kind of excited to have like new perspectives and like new ideas to actually be able to talk about. This video is kind of probably boring, and I'm sorry for that, but I will be posting hopefully 3 times a week. I don't know for sure, because I say that and then I'm like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it, but I'm hoping that I will actually be able to post 3 times a week. So I've already shot one other video that I'm gonna be getting ready after this video goes up. I don't really think there's much else. Oh, actually, there is one thing I can think of. Another thing I'll be talking about, what it's like growing up with a mom that's a hoarder. That's not something that most people know or talk about, and I was thinking about it the other day, like, because I watched like an episode of Hoarders or something, and it got me thinking, like, I know what that's like. I literally know exactly what that's like how frustrated people are and like going through all of that. So I'll probably be talking about that at some point. Sorry, one of my kids tried to come in. But there's a lot of like different things that I've experienced, crazy things that before I wasn't really planning on talking about, but I think now I'd like to kind of branch out and not just focus on makeup, not just focus on one thing, but focus on basically anything that is interesting to me and things that I'm passionate about and so on. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I really hope that if you like this video or you watched it, let me know, leave a thumbs up or a comment, or if you didn't like it, it's a thumbs down. Engagement is still engagement. People think that leaving a negative comment or a negative like actually impacts the algorithm. It does not. Either way, if you want to see more, definitely subscribe to my channel, and you can also find me on Instagram under OMFG Really Nicki. I'm also on Twitter, but I don't go on there as much, and I also manage my own OMFG Cosmetics page, so definitely check those out. And I hope you guys had a great holiday season, and I hope everything is going well for all of you.